Through the Toy Story movies, Woody has changed a lot. With us now going on our 5th film, when people think of Woody, they usually remember him from the more recent movies. And I think people sometimes tend to forget just how different Woody was in the original Toy Story. This Woody is also the same one who mocked Buzz and shoved him out a window. But this is nothing compared to what they originally had planned for him. In early drafts, Woody abused Slinky, constantly mocks the rest of the toys, including Bo Peep, and even relishes in the fact that he knocked Buzz out the window. Before we had Toy Story as we know it, the whole thing almost got completely shut down and cancelled, all because Woody was so unlikable and so evil that he may as well have been the villain. This was called the Black Friday reel. The filmmakers thought this version of the movie was so bad, it was embarrassing. Instead of Woody being the respected leader of the room, he was more like a maniacal dictator of Andy's toys that you could more so compare to Lotso from the third movie. And while there are places in here where I would have to agree that they went too far, I want to make the case that this more edgy and even abusive version of Woody could have actually worked. Hear me out. Obviously, this version of Woody is extremely unlikable, but that's kind of the point. You're not supposed to side with Woody initially, and I think this would have worked to make his growth even more meaningful. First off, a big difference here is that unlike in the movie where Woody tries to knock Buzz behind the dresser and he accidentally goes out the window, in this version it's completely on purpose and he's unapologetic about it. Just like in the movie, all the toys rebel against Woody and chaos erupts. But there's something that I think was really underdeveloped in the first movie, and it all has to do with Mr. Potato Head. In the first Toy Story, he was like Woody's nemesis. He was always way smarter and more cynical than the other toys. He's the first one to rise against Woody initially, and to the bitter end, he's the one opposing him. In my opinion, this is one of the most underrated plot threads from the original Toy Story. And in the Black Friday reel, Potato Head's role is elevated even more, and I think this could have worked really well to increase the tension. In the movie, the other toys reluctantly reject Woody, but in the Black Friday reel, there was some genuine drama that was left out of the final cut. We see that not only does Potato Head turn against Woody, but all the other toys are just as angry with him. And this is big, even Bo Peep turns against him. This is drastically different from what we get in the final cut, where we continually see Bo Peep comforting Woody and being his biggest defender. Given that Bo and Woody's relationship was originally just a throwaway joke, and only later did they decide they wanted to expand on it, this could have actually been a really good way of showing that Woody could lose Bo's approval fast, and it would have actually given their relationship a little more dynamic. Having Bo actually turn against Woody would have been a really interesting angle, and it would have worked even more to fuel his jealousy. When Pixar showed this to Disney executives, they hated it so much that they threatened to pull funding from the entire movie. And this is when Pixar responded by toning everything down. They made Woody a lot more tame, made Slinky his genuine friend, and changed the whole story so that he accidentally knocks Buzz out the window instead of on purpose. What we get in the final version is only a shadow of how intense this movie was originally supposed to be. But ironically enough, you can still catch glimpses of the Black Friday reel in the finished film, like how Woody still does tell Slinky to shut up at one point, and his jealousy really is still there, just not anywhere near as extreme as it was initially. I know this is a controversial take, but I actually don't think this version was that bad. I really don't. There's some stuff in here that I think genuinely could have made the film better. For one, being that Woody intentionally got himself into this mess and it wasn't just some accident, it would have made him have to win back the trust of the toys. He would have had to actually realize he was wrong and apologize not just to Buzz but to everyone. At the end of the day, the entire story is about jealousy, so it only makes sense that that kind of jealousy would cause Woody to act very out of character. They don't have to imply that Woody was always cruel to the other toys. In the past, he could have been a genuine leader, and they show us this before Buzz arrives. But given the situation he's in, I think it would have made sense to see him lashing out at not just Buzz, but all the toys that sided with him. I understand why Disney turned this down. This was when Pixar was still an independent studio, and Disney was worried it would ruin their family-friendly image. But I think this is what could have set Pixar apart from Disney. Other studios like DreamWorks, which came on the scene not too long after, weren't afraid to write their characters for both kids and adults. And when I say adult, I don't mean in the sense of not being appropriate for kids. I just mean that things don't always have to be so toned down when it sacrifices part of the story. What we got in the end is still perfect. I consider Toy Story to be a near flawless movie, but I do find it really interesting to look back and see how this movie that we've come to know was almost something so different. Anyway, I really want to hear what you guys think. Should they have kept the original, more edgy version of Woody, or do you prefer the version we ended up with? Leave all your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.